So exit card tomorrow is simplifying. Today is solving. So can you guys try this thing as a warm-up?
Went to elementary school first today. I didn't go to elementary school.
I don't know. No, like, what's it? Like in Dutch, I used to know, it was hard to catch the least behavior. Because it was a phrase that they would say, and I was like, really? But like, phrase, like, hello is too much like Spanish. Is there something distinctly Portuguese? Like, the grease.
There's like a phrase, there's like, to say when you need to like distinct or different things, you say like, uma coisa é uma coisa e outra coisa é outra coisa. Like one thing is one thing and the other thing is another thing.
Ah, okay. We good at Mishmish? Saturday. Emmanuel, you do not need the Chromebook out. Yep. Fernando, who are we missing from your group? Anybody know the white girls?
Wow.
I mean, I would define this by but then you have all the X words.
I don't even think that's controversial. I think the majority would agree.
Well, a teacher got,
I see.
for saying that for a different ethnic group.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I was in the period. I was supposed to be in that class that day, but I ended up missing it. I'm just kidding.
He was appropriately absent.
I avoided.
Is there? Yep. Sophie's there. Who are we missing? Who is the white girl? Maud is over there. Nava. Nava's there. This is not quadratic formula. 7.
I don't know what he was saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was saying.
Conchetta. Yes.
Oh wait, we can combine like our...
Abraham and Jean Gideon, are we missing anyone from your group? Or were you guys always just two? Emmanuel, how do we start this?
I got x squared.
Like, we need to get rid of the complications, one complication at a time. What looks like the first complication to clean up? The lumpy business, the parentheses. Oh, how do I do that multiply? Oh, actually, do you know that it's multiply?
You know what I'm doing this year.
Oh, can we foil that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Clara, how do I do the FOIL, the multiply,
You take the first, and then take the outer ones.
Okay, first times first gives me what?
X squared.
Outside times outside?
2x. Let's do it.
Inside times inside?
Minus 3x.
And last times last?
Minus 6.
Equals -6.
Plus 3x.
What do I do with the rest of the junk that's there?
Bring it down.
Bring it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then we can simplify.
How do we do that?
You add the like terms.
Okay.
So I got x squared plus 2x minus 6 equals negative 6.
So he did 3x minus 3x, goes away. Carrie, what would you do?
I would add the 6 to both sides.
Please don't leave it like this. What's on the other side of the equal sign?
0.
0, and it needs to be there. It's important.
Divide by 2.
Okay,
Zero would be one. Like,
so
zero.
simplifying would be, like, if we didn't have this side, I'd be like, clean it up, just combine everything. And it would have been just x squared plus 2x. But I'm not asking you to simplify, I'm actually asking you to go all the way through and solve.
It would just be 2.
How do I solve?
Then you divide by 2.
Oh, wait, do square root and divide by 2?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2.
Dividing by 2, if I divide,
Oh, that
I
would
gotta
just be
divide
0.
everybody by 2.
No.
Then I get x squared over 2 plus, and that doesn't help.
Did you add?
Nava? Factor it.
Oh, she's such a
Just not thinking that way.
Yeah, she's
So the reason that x equals, or that equals 0 is important is we
I mean, I
wanna
was
turn this
close.
into a times b equals 0. Is that the same, like, does it matter that it's a 0 versus a 1? Hosea, what do you think? If I tell you a times b equals 1, what do you know about a? Or b? So does a have to be 1 and b has to be 1?
Yeah.
Theoretically,
Couldn't it be 10 and 1 over 10? Could it be negative 10 and negative 1 over 10?
so it doesn't really tell you much.
It doesn't tell you anything.
Mm.
There are an infinite number of things that this could be true. But if I tell you, Hosea, if, we're gonna say this is 8b times 0. What do you know about b?
Zero.
Like, without a doubt, it has to be 0. So having this, that this times this equals 0, you know that one of these guys is 0, which is why Nava factored, and she said, this times this is 0, not 1, not some other number. That means either the first thing was 0, or the second thing was 0. So we get 2 answers. So either, if I plug in 0, it's gonna work, and if I plug in negative 2, it's gonna work. Let's check,
Oh.
right? So 0 minus 3 times 0 plus 2 plus 3 times 0, does that equal negative 6?
Yep.
Yes,
I would.
okay, now let's try the negative 2. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Plus 3 times negative 2,
You can still
does that equal negative 6? Yes, because this negative 5 times 0 became 0, right? And then negative 3, or sorry, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, so yeah.
Wow.
Parfait. Ooh, ooh. So Martha, is it better sitting by the window, or it's still just hot in here? It's better. Better? Last period, we had they were raking leaves with a
Thanks for that.
mower, so it was like, going by.
What was that?
Never learned anything in class, it was fun. Okay, try this one. So, it should be quick and easy. Like, it takes longer to write it down than
It's really nice.
to do it.
Gosh darn it.
And Emmanuel solved it without even writing it down. He gave a number. Yep.
You cross multiply.
15.
Okay?
2 over 30.
Nope.
No, that's very wrong, actually. I mean, all you have to do is multiply by 6.
I mean, I got the same answer. But then
Well, you said
say,
2 over
You said 2 over 30.
which would equal 15.
2 over 30 is not 15.
Oh shoot, you're right. Yeah. 30 over 2. Same thing.
It's not the same. Don't go into finance.
They will
You're gonna get
stop planning on
in
it.
trouble for embezzling, fraud, doing bad things with the books.
God,
Wait,
it's
so-
enough.
And don't go into engineering because you'll kill people.
I already dropped that pathway too.
I suggest politics, anybody can do it.
Oh. She's saying you're gonna be the next
Am I getting singled out?
Because you said 2 over 30 is the same as the opposite one. Okay, so this one, just multiply by 6 on both sides. Or like, honestly, you guys do the knee-jerk reaction. Fraction equals fraction, no other stuff hanging off. You're gonna do the cross multiply and then divide by 2. And no big deal, didn't take any real extra thought process.
Why would I do that when I can just multiply 2 by 3?
Okay, so you see
So long.
this, like, to make the proportion work,
Yeah.
however you see it, way cool. But you know, welcome to pre-cal, they're not gonna stay that easy.
What happened to the 2 in the denominator when you multiply by 6?
Here,
Yeah.
multiply both sides by 6. 6
Mhm.
divided by 6 becomes 1.
Gone.
What's 6 divided by 2? So what happened? The 2, it got reduced. And then it was 5 times 3, which is 15. If you don't like that,
I'll keep that in mind.
I mean,
I'm not really.
it's easier to make the numbers smaller before you make them bigger. So 6 divided by 2, make it a 3, so you do 3 times 5.
Oh, so I really could have just done 6 times 5 divided by 2. I got
Right.
you. I got you.
But,
Yeah, I got you.
It was just the order of operation.
but Emery, if I ask you to do this, do you know what 19 times 17 is? And do you know how to easily then divide that by, like,
Calculator?
just, no, so 3p, 17 divided by 17, it just goes away, so you
Yeah.
get 19, like,
I mean, that's what I would.
smaller, rather than, just trying to make my point, yo. Okay, write the problem down. Yep. So, hopefully, LCD, what does that stand for? Least common denominator, cool. Jack, there's only one denominator, so what's the least common denominator? What is the denominator? What is in the one denominator that I have?
Yeah, that's one, that's one, that's one.
No, it's not one.
X.
X.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
The thing that's in the denominator, there's only one denominator, it's one little element, is X. And then, what's the one number we're not allowed to divide by? 0. We are allowed to divide by 6, I swear I heard someone say. Okay, so this thing is not allowed, the things in the denominator, not allowed to be 0. So if I get an answer of, hey, Ahmed, I solved it and I got X equals 0, I need to throw that out. Khalil, what would you do to try and solve this? I can't cross multiply because I got a couple of ugly things on the left. So what would you do to try and like make this a solvable situation? Perfect idea. Multiply both sides by that common denominator. Okay, Sophie, what happens when I do that multiply? On the left side, I gotta distribute the x to everybody, so what do I get? Okay, so x squared plus
Oh wait, not.
3x over x, so it becomes what?
Three.
Just 3. And that's the reason that Khalil knew to suggest multiplying by the denominator, is it makes that denominator conveniently go away.
And it would equal 4x.
So from now done though, what do I do here? The next step,
Oh, do we move the 3 over?
move the 3 over.
Minus
By
3.
subtracting 3 from both sides.
She's not right.
Equal it to 0 by,
Huh. I think it's slightly counterintuitive.
this is not slightly counterintuitive, this is algebra 1. And I will tell you all the same thing I said to the last period. Guys, if this is hard, January, February will suck for you. Because we will be doing things like this. There. And saying, solve for theta, which goes like this. And you get
Now we're getting a
4
little
different
ahead of ourselves.
answers. Just trying to give you a taste of reality. If algebra 1, which this is only algebra 1, if this is hard, once we put algebra 1 with trig, which is pre-cal, which is January, February, if over here scares you, you might want to consider a schedule change before second semester. And I'm not kidding. Like, if this is hard, you will not be passing this. Just a heads up. Because we're not even done yet with this problem. So you need to factor to find where those factors are 0. So, Alex, do you know how to factor this x squared minus 4x plus 3?
Yeah, it would be x minus 3, x minus 1.
Okay. So, Trey, what do I do with those things now?
You set them to 0.
Okay?
So it would be 3 and 1.
So, if you guys are good with it, I'm comfortable with you going from here to the answers. If you are not comfortable with that, well, as these guys in the front table said, take each factor, set it to 0, and then here, we added 3 on both sides to get x equals 3, and here we added 1 to both sides to get x equals 1. Now's this finger. You gotta go back and check. You can check 2 different ways. I wrote down the excluded, yes,
On the blue one.
on the blue one.
X
Yep.
Do we not just switch plus 3 and 4x, and then it would be x squared minus 4x equals to negative 3, and then take it on the back.
You mean put the 3 on the other side of the equal sign?
And 4x on this one, and then like
No.
take it back.
What do I do with that?
And then x into x
Oh.
minus 4.
So, you're saying this, what 2 numbers multiply to be negative 3? A
And
whole
then
bunch
x
of,
would be equals to the negative 3 and x
nope,
minus
nope, 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 not at all.
4.
Cause 6 times negative a half is negative 3. Let's see. Negative 2 times, like, there's an infinite number of answers that will multiply to be negative 3. You cannot do this at all. Super duper no, you need the equal 0. But again, sorry, just a question.
Yeah, I understand the process of subtracting 4x, but I have like a verbal explanation as to why. Like, I know that I like should be doing that.
Okay, hold on, let me just finish the question. I need to check for my answers, any of these excluded values. And if I forgot to do this, I'm gonna go back and check. When I plug in my answers, do I get a divide by 0?
No.
No. So both of these work. All right. So why do we subtract the 4x to the other side? I'm gonna tell you that 5 times x minus 2 equals 0. What do you know? Eddie, do I know what x has to be to make this thing true?
You would have to FOIL it out, right?
Nope. How about I simplify it? I'm gonna divide by 5, and now I get x minus 2 equals, what's 0 divided by 5?
0.
0. So what is x?
2.
It's not maybe this, maybe that. X is 2. That is the only answer. Now, it doesn't work well when I have just one factor. So, if I say these two things multiply to be 1, well, it could have been 8 times 1 over 8. It could have been 80 times 1 over 80. It could have been 180 times 1 over 180. Like, anything. Like, lots of answers are possible. When I force it to be a 0, the only thing that multiplies to be a 0 is another 0. So that's why we wanted every, as Louisa said, make it equal 0. Move everybody to the other side, so. All right, write the problem down.
There you go.
Okay, do I have fraction equals fraction, or is there stuff in the way?
Fraction.
Fraction equals fraction, so Danny, can I just cross multiply? No? Why not? I have 2 different sides of the equal sign, so I am allowed to multiply the same thing on both sides and it will stay equal. So on the left, I get x times 5 plus x. And on the right, I get x minus 1 times x plus 2. Yep.
Are we allowed to rearrange the 5 plus x to be like x plus 5?
Yep. Which I did in the last class and they were mad at me. But 5 times 2, or sorry, 5 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 5. You can rearrange them, and I like the x being in the front too, but they were like, no, that's not what it said. They were all upset. But yeah, I like that one better, so thanks. Manche, what do I get when I do the distributing on the left?
5x plus x squared.
Monte, what do I get when I do the right?
X squared plus 2x minus x minus 2.
Okay. Sherry, what would you do now?
I would simplify out to x squared plus x minus 2.
Okay. So she's combining this. And just because I don't want to write it 18 million times, what can I do about the x squareds? They cancel. Subtracting x squared from both sides, they go away. So 5x equals x minus 2, so you want to.
I wrote it as I did the problem wrong, so I was trying to rewrite it while you were explaining.
Okay, sorry. So what I have is 5x equals x minus 2. So what do I do?
Move the 5x over so that it would be, when we move 5x over, it will be 4x. Oh wait,
Okay, so, all right, we can do that, and that was the stress a moment ago, but I got rid of my squared. So how about I move numbers to one side, x's to another? And I get x equals negative a half. Do I need to throw the answer out, or is it okay? It works? How do you know?
Because the excluded values are 0.
Oh, I didn't say any excluded values. What are my excluded values?
Sorry, Ms. Pascal. When you subtract the x from the 5 is multiplied to the x.
5 of these take away 1 of these. I have 5 pencils. 5 times 1 pencil is 5 pencils, yeah? It took away 1 pencil. How many pencils do I have? I still have 4 pencils. 4x is still there.
Okay, yeah, because this is
X can't equal negative 2.
And it can't equal negative 5. Where'd you get those from? Where is that 0? And where is that 0? Yes. Yes. So this isn't any of those excluded values, or you could check by plugging it back into the function itself and saying, yeah, it wasn't a problem, so we're good.
What does the denominator say? I can't
The
remember.
denominators in the original question,
Yeah.
x plus 2 and 5 plus x. Least common denominator is those 2 factors. And I wrote x plus 5 instead of 5 plus x, as Fernando said I could. Okay. This one's a mess. Think about it.
My pencil. No, I left it yesterday.
See, I'm telling you, bro, back is just
No, we're doing this one.
How do we do mod? What do we do?
Give us some time.
So, but Emery, I'm worried because people are sitting here like, I don't know what to do because the plus 1 is in the way. So, I need help.
Fair enough.
So Emery, do you know how to get over that plus 1?
I'm not there yet. I know how you can do it.
Okay.
Well, how was it, may I ask, how was it in the way? What did you just do?
I can't cross multiply over a plus 1. So I need to make, it needs to look like single fraction equals single fraction. That plus 1 is just in the way. So how do I make a single fraction on the left? Eleanor, what were you saying? Not exactly an improper fraction, but I want it to merge or combine with that guy, so he needs that guy's denominator. How do I give it?
Can we multiply both sides? It's like multiply x minus 3 times x minus 3 and then x minus 8 times x minus, like what we did on the last one?
She's
Okay.
saying before you do any of that, you have to make one.
All right, there's a couple of valid choices. Emery just said one of them.
Okay. I added in here.
So,
That's what I did.
Emery, hold that
Is it
thought.
okay?
I mean, let's find
Like, we'll come back to that.
Great.
What, someone else?
I mean, that's actually like, I added 2x minus 6.
Okay.
It's like,
if I have,
That's in there.
That's what I.
guys, if I was to combine these, what does this denominator need to be? In the second one?
1/1.
It needs to be an x minus 3.
What?
But, Alistair, for it to be 1, what has to be in the top?
X minus 3.
Oh.
I see.
So, but we're gonna try Emery's way
One is the
in a
same-
minute.
That fraction is the same as saying 1.
Yeah.
So both denominators are the same, so now I can just do 2 plus x minus 3, which is x minus 1.
See if we're the same.
Now do I have single fraction equals single fraction? Yes, so now do your cross multiply and stuff. So try that.
Oh my gosh, I actually might be right.
That's how it feels.
So, suppose
Okay, sorry.
So
Shoot.
now you can add the top because the bottom. She transforms
If I have a
this
2x,
one
can I
into a-
subtract that 2x?
Now you can
Or would I have to
transform
divide it?
Well, what is the 2x doing? Like,
Just
is,
2x plus 3.
okay, if it's 2x plus 3, but in a fraction, eh,
No, it's just straight up 2x plus 3. There's
Okay.
no denominator.
hold on, let me find the thing we were supposedly working on.
I mean, you can avoid anything. This entire thing.
I'm stuck at 2x plus 3.
So Emery, you got to this part?
that was the.
Yeah, that's
So right
fine.
here we
Sure.
cross multiply.
Sure.
Yep. X squared, yeah, that's what I was saying.
No. Not
Okay,
even
wait.
close.
I thought that,
I got 6x plus 18.
Equals what? What's on the other side?
I had 2, and then parentheses x minus 8 plus 1.
No. So you skip this piece. I had 2 over x minus 3 plus x minus 3 over x minus 3. Merge them. So Emery, if I said, what is that?
4 over 7.
4 over 7. So you just added the tops and you left the bottom alone. Add the tops, leave the bottom alone.
Okay.
Yeah,
why is it x plus?
Yeah.
Should it be x minus?
because I copied it wrong. So it's a minus 18.
Yeah. Oh, not bad, so.
Are we there or no?
No. We know.
Emma is melting. Emma, what do we do from, did you get this piece?
I'm like just there now, but then you can subtract 8 from.
So, do I have an x squared that's gonna be left in the end?
Yeah.
So then I probably need to move everything to one side.
Okay. So then add 18 to both sides. Okay, yeah.
So that's where I'm from.
Mod is giving it the stink eye. Mod, does it factor? It does? How does it factor? Wow.
Handwriting.
No, no, right.
Emery, what's wrong?
No, I just did something wrong, I guess.
Leo, what answers do we get? And plugging them back into the original question, do I have any divide by zero issues? No, so they both work. Alistair, where did we lose you? What color?
Blue,
Blue, pink,
nah,
orange?
purple or red, right there.
That's the
Yeah.
problem?
Well, wasn't, I might have just copied it down into my notebook wrong.
I mean,
But if it's 8, positive 8 minus 18.
Plus
No.
No, but like it wasn't, oh, so I just had it at, okay.
I wrote a plus 18 over here by accident, because I
Okay.
copied it wrong and
There we go.
they copied me. So, my bad.
It's all good.
Isaac, how's it going?
the negative 9x.
Outside times outside, negative 8 times x, inside times
Oh.
inside. So negative 8 minus 1, I did skip that step, but
Hi, Rihanna, how are you? Way far away there. Can you see the board at all?
Danny wearing the long sleeve sweatshirt, black one, and no rice. Y'all.
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
For the orange one, for like 6 minutes.
Because I've been copying things wrong. X minus 3, x minus 3. Because I copied it wrong all along, sorry. And now I see why I made the other mistake. Because. Emmanuel, do you have a question too, or is it more that I copied stuff wrong? Yep.
So when we have an x squared on one of the problems, you can just set, like, you can just move everything over, set it the whole thing to 0.
And then see if you can factor.
Okay.
Then it's the algebra 1 game.
Yeah, but alright. So let's say we have a situation where you do move stuff over to an x squared, and it's not factorable. Is that one of the problems we've already done?
That would be algebra 2.
Phenomenal question.
Oh then it's just solving from.
So if it's this, looks like it should factor, and if it was a minus 8, it would, but as a positive 8, it doesn't, so then you gotta do x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Don't really remember.
And
Well, we have to do that soon.
Well, that's
On the X ticket.
That's algebra 2, bro.
quadratic formula, no. Being able to do, regular factoring, yes. I wanna know, can you guys come up with the LCD of this? It's big, long, and complicated.
Last 6 minutes of class. Outrageous.
4 is not one of the factors.
Not fun.
What about what?
What is this? Lowest common
Well, how do we find the least common denominator? What's the process that you're looking for?
You can multiply x.
So I think finding the factors of all of these guys is what you need to do first.
Yeah.
So do that. Factor all of them.
Oh, I can do that.
Kira, do you know how to factor the first denominator?
I got x minus 3, x plus 2.
So our LCD needs both of those factors. Okay, so if how did you factor the second denominator?
Difference of perfect squares, so x plus 2 x minus 2.
The x plus 2 is already there, so I'm only gonna keep the x minus 2. And Abraham, what's the biggest number that comes out of both of the terms in the last part?
2.
A 2. So when the 2 comes out, what's left inside?
Let's do.
Yep. And again, we already have the x plus 2 there, so I need to carry over that. So the LCD is that big, ugly, nasty thing.
So the excluded numbers
The excluded numbers, how do I find those?
do the opposite. They're like set equals 0.
So what are they?
3, -2, 2.
And what about this guy?
It would just be -2.
Well, it's saying, when does 2 equal 0?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the least common denominator. Yeah?
Will that be on it?
So he's calling it out.
Simplifying is tomorrow.
X plus 2.
Why did I go through and find the LCD? What did we do with it? Well, it's not cross multiply, but I'm gonna multiply everybody on this side by that. And everybody over here. And this side, I'm gonna be left with what's in the numerator times my leftovers from my LCD. And here, it's 1 times, well, the x plus 2, x minus 2 go away. And then 3 times the x plus 2 and the 2 go away. Then it's just big ugly algebra. Martha, you look. It's only, 100 degrees in here. This is, simple. What's the temperature supposed to be tomorrow? Does anybody know?
A little bit cooler, I think.
So I'm wondering if I should be bringing in fans. And it was,
You should.
it's 30's not.
70
what we-
is not
70
bad.
versus 77 today.
I'm quite comfortable right now.
Though,
You're comfortable? I've been dying in my
I'm comfortable.
alright. So you have an exit card on simplifying tomorrow. If you haven't done yesterday's Delta Math, do that in addition to today's.
Probably write that in my notes.